Hey, this is Eddie from Eddie's Emporium, and today we're unboxing a delivery. So I'm going to kind of talk you through, some good tips and tricks to be able to make sure that when you get a delivery, how do you want to manage it? One of the first things that I would like to show you is obviously record you unsealing the box, you obviously unpacking the inventory, just checking it's all there, because what that will do is provide you with first-hand evidence. So when, if an issue arises, I know you will have bought from a supplier you trust, but mistakes do happen. So it's really important to, provide them with the information, because, they might have doubts just as much as you do that something could be stolen. It avoids any kind of second guessing. Secondly, obviously, that is, a really cool way for me to show you my first delivery, and obviously unboxing, checking the stock, and being able to kind of, share that with you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fast forward to me doing that, and what I'll do is I'll follow up with a quick summary of kind of what I've learned through my first sales experience. Hey, it could be rocks. So, right, see ya. So this is my third attempt at recording this video. First one, didn't press record. Second one, didn't plug in my microphone and record without the microphone, or at least I just stood there holding it for holding its sake. But anyway, we're good now. We're good. We're happy. And as you saw by that video, it was a great shipment. Everything was there. It was properly packaged. 5-star on my Rolodex is going to go to this supplier because, they were informative. They were really good at keeping me up to speed as a new buyer in this area. And it was really smooth. And obviously, I did the research and then, obviously made it able to be that smooth, making sure they added the commodity codes, which again, I saved the 2.5% on, which was great. So that is a benefit in its own right. And then also, it all arrived safe, which is, the hardest thing when you are sending money to a person you've never met before and you're only interacting for this thing. There is still an element of risk and anxiety that will be there. But for me, I think overall, next time I'm with them, I will use Wise as a service. I'll put a little box up here because there'll probably be a bit more of a detailed breakdown when I not racking it off the top of my head, but PayPal goods and service 5%. They have a conversion fee, international currency exchange, and the conversion rate is a lot lower than what anyone else like Wise would do. So with all them hidden fees, which still took me by surprise because I didn't account for them in the calculator, I will do now moving forward. It cost me about best part of 70 quid extra on top of the order, which, it's not massive, but when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's 70 quid that's not in my pocket anymore, or at the business, or it could be even a booster box for you that wasn't in that shipment. So the next time I'm with that supplier, I definitely will use Wise. Now, I'm going to be, looking at other suppliers for my next order because, it's quite like the dating scene, you just got to see what's out there. That's great because I know when I go back to them, I've got a reliable source of, stock. And I think, if you're doing this, maybe you want to find one person to stick with them. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I think part of my strategy is to just understand if I do have a consistent stream of suppliers, if one person doesn't have the stock, can I go to someone that I know and trust to deliver, especially if it's in the, instance of an emergency when I'm shipping out 1 million products a day and, that's going to affect your experience overall, and you're going to want to go to someone else, if I can't give you what you're after. So that's my next plan of action. So probably will use PayPal goods and services with the addition of all the interesting new tactics. There is still a benefit to PayPal. You can use the credit service on there if you don't want to invest too much capital up front. If you spend over an X amount, you can get like 4 months interest free on it to be able to pay it off. It's very useful in the sense that, you're not going to not make rent if, you've got 4 months to pay off that initial order and make them sales, kind of get them out the door. It's really useful to have that. Wise, not so much. You're kind of going to have to rely on selling them products first and then having that capital to be able to put into your account and send to someone else. So yeah, I think the next step now is you to go to my site and buy these products, because otherwise I'll just be sad, to be honest. And you might want that. So but stay tuned to find out more. And yeah, thanks for that. Go to eddiesemporium.co.uk.